parish of Esher and Music on the Green. I bid you a warm welcome to Christ Church for our last regular monthly lunchtime concert of 2024 before we move into the special events of Christmas season. By popular demand, we're making this a jazz concert. We had one jazz concert back in the early summer, and that was such a success we've decided to have another one at the tail end of the year. So thank you for coming to support this. The performers today are, well, convened by Phil Hopkins, who's actually an old school friend of mine. It makes me feel very old to realise that Phil and I have known each other for about 50 years. Phil's brought with him today John Pericelli and Paul Morgan, and all three of them have worked with some of the biggest names in the business, so we're really thrilled to have them here as a very sort of distinguished group of jazz performers. Those of you with good memories will also realise that Phil himself is an alumnus performer of Music on the Green, because he and I did a virtual recital together early in lockdown. It was the very first Music on the Green virtual recital by which we tried to keep you entertained during the pandemic. So you might have heard him on the harmonica before, but that would have been purely online, and today you have a chance to hear his skills in the flesh. So let's, without further ado, welcome the three of them, and Phil will be saying some words about the music as we go. So put our hands together now for the Phil Hopkins Jazz Trio.
One, two, three, four. Thank you so much. I'm just setting up the microphone. How's this? Can you hear me okay? Great. Thank you so much for that lovely warm welcome. Talking of warm, it's so nice to be in this beautiful warm church. It's a beautiful church and it's warm as well. And I would just like to thank, a huge thank you to Stuart Watton and everyone who sets up music on the green. It really is a fantastic concert series, and we really appreciate being asked to come along. Huge amount of work goes into setting these events up. We've decided to call today's concert From Broadway to Brazil. Broadway because Broadway and jazz have always gone hand in hand. And Brazil because we love melodic jazz, and the combination of Brazilian songs and jazz improvisation has always been a powerful combination. It's interesting that some of the most famous jazz standards came from shows and films that no one remembers. For example, the song My Funny Valentine has been played by artists such as Frank Sinatra, Miles Davis, and Chet Baker, but not so many are familiar with the show it came from. Does anyone here know? A show called Babes in Arms. Don't worry, we're not going to play that tune. But it was written by Rodgers and Hammerstein, and they definitely had the last laugh because they went on to write The Sound of Music, The King and I, and Oklahoma, from which we've taken our next song. like to introduce these two wonderful musicians, Paul Morgan on the double bass. And John Paricelli on the guitar. The instrument I'm playing today is the chromatic harmonica. It's a bit bigger than the one used for playing blues, and it has one crucial difference. It can play all the notes of the chromatic scale. That's the white notes and the black notes on the piano keyboard. This opens up possibilities of jazz and indeed classical music. The amazing thing about this instrument is you don't have to take a breath, so I can play a scale. Forever, but don't worry, I won't. Talking of opening up possibilities, the man who really opened up the chromatic harmonica was a man called Larry Adler, who became a famous harmonica player in the 1930s, 40s, and 50s. The chromatic harmonica has only been around since the mid-20s, and Larry Adler, through a combination of talent and persistence, ended up having works written for him by giants of classical music, such as Vaughan Williams, Mio, Malcolm Arnold, the list goes on. Larry Adler wrote an autobiography detailing all the famous people he'd met during his life, including George Gershwin and Charlie Chaplin. The autobiography was called It Ain't Necessarily So, reflecting the fact that some of the anecdotes about all the famous people he met might have been a tiny bit exaggerated. Although one of his friends said it should have been called Name Drops Keep Falling on My Head. Another famous harmonica player was Toots Thielemans, and I'm going to dedicate our next piece to Toots, who was a great interpreter of Brazilian music. So this is Começar de Novo, Starting Over by Ivan Lins.
Straight into the happy talk. One, two, two, two.
Another Rodgers and Hammerstein classic. Talking of the dynamic duo, I always liked a story about the rivalry of their wives. Apparently Mrs. Hammerstein, wife of the composer, and Mrs. Rodgers, wife of the lyricist, were standing next to each other in the post-show lineup to meet some dignitary. Mrs. Hammerstein was first to shake the president, or king, or queen's hand. "And who might you be?" asked the dignitary. "I'm Mrs. Hammerstein. My husband wrote, 'Oh, what a beautiful morning.'" "No, he didn't," butted in Mrs. Rodgers, wife of the lyricist. "Mr. Hammerstein wrote, 'Dee, dee, 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 dee.' My husband wrote, 'Oh, what a beautiful morning.'" I don't know if Antonio Carlos Jobim had a wife, but lyrics got constantly added to his songs, particularly English lyrics, because by the 1960s, the commercial appeal of his music had been well and truly grasped by American record executives. The next song we're going to play, Corcovado, was translated as Quiet Nights of Quiet Stars, but I prefer to use my own imagination and think of Corcovado, the mountain in Rio de Janeiro, its statue of Christ the Redeemer opening his arms in a gesture of peace which this world so badly needs. so much. It's been such a pleasure to play for you today. Thank you for your warmth and generous reception. We really appreciate it. If anyone's interested in hearing some more harmonica, I have a CD which is of classical harmonica, but do come and see me afterwards if you'd like to take away some harmonica music with you. Just a final thank you to Stuart and Music on the Green for giving us such a wonderful, warm welcome, and thank you to everyone here for supporting them. We're going to... It's time to finish, or we've got time for one more? Just one more, okay. I think it might be in the programme, so we're contractually obliged to do it, I think. Thanks again, and have a safe journey home, and stay warm. One, two, three, four.
Well, thank you very much indeed to Phil, John and Paul for that absolutely marvellous lunchtime concert and for taking us on a real foot-tapping journey between Brazil and Broadway, and also for some more contemplative moments. I did like the picture of the Corcovado with the statue of Christ the Redeemer, encouraging us into a a peaceful season of Advent and Christmas. So thank you ever so much for sharing your skills and talents with us today. So that, as I mentioned at the beginning, is our last regular lunchtime concert of this calendar year, but we do have another Music on the Green fixture for you next month. As usual, in December, it'll be Come and Sing Carols with a mixture of music, seasonal music and readings, some humorous, some reflective, and a chance for you to join in a few Christmas carols yourselves. So that's on December the 18th. We'd love to see you then. There's also an event next Friday of next week, the official switching on of the parish Christmas tree. Michael, do you want to say anything quickly about that?
Well, better? Yeah. I just wanted to remind you of two exceptional evenings which we're going to have actually at the end of next week here at Christ Church. The first is at 8 o'clock on Thursday, the 28th, which will be our second Peace and Contemplation evening. Now, I know some of you came to our first one, and I understand that you felt it was very rewarding, and we'd like to see a lot more of you at the second one on the Thursday. Basically, the theme of the Thursday one is the wonder of creation, which is probably the biggest question of them all. We'll have readings based on that, short readings, and some wonderful music, including 3 soloists from Christ Church, quite exceptional, following which we'll have 2 minutes of silence. The silence is yours. It's an opportunity for you to relax, have some time off, and actually follow your dreams. So we'll look forward to seeing you at that on Thursday. And then, as Stuart's just mentioned, on the Friday, doors open at 5:30, and at 6:30, the mayor actually lights up our Christmas tree. We'll have a full choir to sing carols, and of course, once again, you're invited to let go and have a good time and sing them as heartily as you can. And afterwards, there'll be plenty of mulled wine and mince pies for you to enjoy. So we look forward to seeing you all then. Thank you very much.
There we are, so lots of dates for your diaries, but the most immediate two are next Thursday, Peace and Contemplation, 8 p.m, and next Friday, the Christmas tree lighting up ceremony with general jollity from 5:30. As ever, thank you very much indeed to our catering team for a magnificent spread today. And also, as usual, we've got some baskets and a card machine and gift aid envelopes awaiting your attention on your way out. Do please give as generously as you can to help keep this series flourishing. Thank you very much indeed for coming. I wish you a very happy Advent and Christmas season. Hope to see you at one or other of our events between now and the end of the year. Thank you.